day 2 of EW PopFest. Thank you so much for coming. I am so thrilled to be kicking off the day with some of the cast of my favorite show, Grey's Anatomy. We do this little feature in the magazine about once a month or so called 3 Rounds With, and what we do is we go and have some drinks with some celebrities and get them talking and stuff like that. So we're going to be staging a live 3 rounds here with some of the cast of Grey's Anatomy. We'll be drinking a bit and chatting about the show, and hopefully you'll learn some stuff you didn't know before. Without any further ado, I'd like to bring out the cast. First up, we have Jessica Capshaw, who plays Arizona Robin. Jason George, who plays Ben Warren. Next up, we have Kelly McCreary, who plays Maggie Peters. And next, we have Giacomo Gianniotti, who plays Andrew DeLuca. And finally, we have Jerrika Hinton, who plays Stephanie Edwards. Bartender, can we get our drinks, please? Can we have a first round?
Marky.
Are you guys drinking too?
It's shots for the crowd, though.
This is the biggest glass of rosé I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm very excited.
You won't be able to ask questions in the 3rd round.
Exactly. Well, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers. I want to talk to you all about your auditions and sort of your entry into Shondaland. And Jessica, I want to start with you. You almost played a very, very different role on Grey's Anatomy.
Okay, there we go. Yes, I did. I actually auditioned for Grey's Anatomy 4 times because I first came to audition for the role of Nurse Rose, who diehard Grey's fans will know was not well received. She sort of came in between Meredith and Derek. It was definitely destined to be a doomed role, and yet I really wanted it, and I didn't get it. And I came back and read with Patrick, and then I didn't get it. So that's 2 times. And then I came back a year later for a role that hadn't even been written yet, that ended up going to Melissa George. Also another role that's not here anymore. So evidently, it was all good for me when I just got a phone call saying that Shonda had conceived of a 3-episode arc for a plucky pediatric surgeon, and then there I was.
3 episodes?
3 episodes. I've done 3 episodes of Grey's Anatomy. But they invited me, and I was excited to see you all today.
Jason, this is a pretty deep cut, but you are already a member of the Shondaland family as a doctor, no less, with the series Off the Map. What are some fans and fans?
That's the guy. He's the guy. The rest of you, you're the reason why we're not on the air anymore.
And when you were joining Grey's Anatomy, was there ever thought about bringing your character Otis from Off the Map onto Grey's Anatomy?
No, actually, because I came into Shondaland because I auditioned for a pilot that Shonda was doing called Inside the Box, which none of you have ever seen because it didn't make air. It was fantastic though. But in that pilot was me, Martin Henderson, and Sarah Drew. Kim Raver also was on that pilot, who came through and lived in Graysville for a little bit. And I remember I had a massive natural fro at the time. And my character was supposed to be a White House correspondent. And Shonda was like, would you be willing to cut your... I was like, yeah, there ain't no White House correspondence.
Maybe now there are.
Yeah, exactly. In an Obama White House, there will be pros in the White House.
In the future.
Yeah, so after that, Shonda gave me, I got a call that they wanted me to do a 4-episode arc on Grey's Anatomy, and so this role of Ben Warren showed up as an anesthesiologist, and I think I was supposed to originally do Bailey kind of dirty and check out.
And then you did, though. Well, you do. You continue.
I stuck around. But then I think Off the Map came up as a pilot, and Shonda decided just not to, until she knew, she was like, I kind of like you guys together, so I kind of want to let that ride. And so off the mat, when we went and did half a season of that, it didn't take. And fortunately, she didn't kill Ben Warren or turn him into a complete never ass. So I got to come back and hang out for a little bit.
So the secret to being on a Shondaland show is to be offered like 3 or 4 episodes, and then you're become a permanent character.
The key is, yeah.
Giacomo, was that the case with you?
Yes.
What was your audition like?
I sent a tape in from Toronto where I was living. Any Canadians in the house?
Woo!
Canada! Yeah, so I sent a tape from Toronto and didn't hear anything for about 4 months, and then found myself driving to Los Angeles, and it was during that journey that I got a call saying that I had a call back for it. And when I landed in Los Angeles, I met with Shonda and her team, and I did another audition. And then at the time, it was just 3 episodes. And then the writers just kept bringing me back, and then it became something larger. But very similar stories for sure.
Kelly and Jerrika, you are both Scandal alums, which I kind of love. Kelly, I want to, yes, round of applause. Kelly, I want to start with you. What was your audition like? Because yours was a very top secret role going into the season. Like we had this huge reveal that Meredith had a half sister, and we had no idea.
Yeah, I was auditioning for a couple of episodes for a character named Claudette, who that's what it was on the dummy sites, because obviously they don't like to give the secrets away to randos who are auditioning. So it said Claudette, and I was like, oh, her name is Dr. Claudette, and I
No one ever.
I did the read. A couple of days or weeks or whatever passed, and I was offered the job, and they were like, great, so, right, this may be long term, we're not really sure, it's the end of the season now, maybe a couple more episodes following season. I was like, great, so who is she exactly? And went to set, signed my contract, walked on to set, and Sandra Oh had resumes, because my character was, I know, right? My character was interviewing for the job. So Sandra Oh had these resumes that said Dr. Margaret Pierce that she was looking at. She was my interviewer. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure her name is Claudette. And she was like, no, it's not, it's Maggie Pierce. And I was like, what's going on? Who am I? I don't know what this is. And then I met with Shonda, and she surprised me with the deeper, much deeper backstory.
And Jerrika, how about you?
I have a similar story as well, wherein I did not know my identity. I auditioned for, when they brought in all of us as that batch of interns, I auditioned for medical professional number 1. And it was like, this person is smart and capable. And I'm like, great, all doctors are. I don't know what you're saying. And so I auditioned, got a call saying, hooray, you've been hired. And I was like, great, what have I been hired for? And they're like, to be on the show. And so, okay, cool. In what capacity? I don't know. So I started voraciously doing all kinds of research, and I was like, okay, so on this show, you wear this color scrub if you're a nurse, you wear this color if you're an intern, you wear this if you're an attending, and da-da-da-da-da. And so when I go in for my fitting, at least I'll know what my job is in the hospital. So I went in for the fitting, I saw the light blue scrubs, I was like, great, intern, awesome, okay. Now still, who am I? And they're like, oh, we don't know, okay. And so I went to pick up my script after the table read, or after the fitting, and I went up to the production office, and they were like, oh, Jerrika, okay, tell me who you're playing again. And I was like, I don't know, you tell me. I'm like, you're Stephanie Edwards, great, who's that? So it was, they're big on the secrecy, really big.
And yet wardrobe is one of the spots where you can find out stuff.
You can find out so many things. It's so true.
Jerrika, Stephanie's been an interesting character, and that's a good, actually, sort of metaphor of what's happened. Yeah, she's been a bit of a slow burn, and like we find out, it's been slow to get to know her. And I've been wondering, did you make up a backstory about her in her head long before sort of her backstory has come out?
I did. About a year and a half ago, I suppose, I set up a meeting with boss lady Shonda Rhimes to talk about just who am I? And one of the things that I wanted to pitch in that meeting was giving Stephanie a bit more meat to round her out. Hey, I recognize that face. That's a Twitter face. Where was I? Oh yes, so meeting with Shonda, yeah. And so I decided to, well, not decided, I asked my cousin if I could borrow her life a bit, because she's family, I love her, and it was something that I remember keenly growing up, all of those experiences with her in the hospital and her trial. And so my cousin very graciously allowed me to use a bit of her life to give Stephanie life.
That's terrific.
But did you give it back?
She got the loveliness of knowing her stuff's on TV. Is that a thing?
Jessica, I want to talk to you about Arizona. This is going back many seasons, about the plane accident with Arizona. And I was wondering, what type of research did you do around, when Arizona lost her leg, what type of research did you do around trying to figure out what that would be like?
Get off my legs. They're real. I can feel that. Arizona losing her leg was a surprise to me. I did not know at the end of that season where the plane crash happened that was going to be her story. And Shonda called me, and she had had a life experience with someone she knew who had lost their leg. And she said, I think it'd be a really interesting story to tell. I had just had a baby. That's pretty much all the time. I just had a baby. And I just had my second baby, maybe my third baby, I'm not sure. But now I just have my fourth baby. Anyways, so she called and said, I have this very important story to tell, and I think it would be really great if we did this. And I was completely terrified of it. And as she will say, although she probably won't say because she would never sell me out, but my first reaction to almost everything is like, no, can't do it, don't think I can do it, can't rise to the challenge, don't think I'm able to do it. And then I sort of sat with it, and we talked about it. And it was because, to answer your question, it's a huge responsibility. And I didn't feel that I could do it unless I really, really gave it everything. And again, I just had a baby. And so when I went back to work, I did a lot of research. I was greatly aided and abetted by who was a writer's assistant, Meg, who is now a very, very strong part of our writing team. And she had just done tons of research for me, handed it off, and then I had done interviews with other amputees and things like that. So that was the bulk of my research. And then I think that after I got all of that information, I sort of ended up knowing that I was never going to know it all, but that my true north should mostly be the storytelling. And as long as I stuck with the script and with what the story that Shonda was intending to tell about what this meant to Arizona, the relationship, and everything else, that I would have the best chance at success. So I think that's a long answer to that question.
Amazing answer to that question.
Also, a round of applause for our medical researchers, because they really incredible.
Bartender, I think we're ready for round two.
Are we?
Here we go. Giacomo, the newbie, I want to know what it's like to learn how to perform surgery on Grey's Anatomy.
My first one was a nightmare because our medical professional on set, Linda Klein, is amazing and helps us to make sure that we're looking.
Woo woo, Linda Klein.
Yeah. But
Nurse Linda sometimes.
there was just so many things, general rules that I didn't know about sterilization and keeping everything clean, and I was constantly dropping my hands in my surgery, and Linda would be like, God, Giacomo, God, what are you doing? And I'm like, what happened? She's like, you dropped your hands, you're not sterile, you can't do that in the surgery. And I was like, oh God. So that was.
I told you.
So like little things like that, or how you grip the instruments. You grab with your thumb and your ring finger, which seems counterintuitive, but that's one of those things that if you see that on TV and you're not doing that, then she's like, they'll know you're not a doctor. So just definitely a learning curve is basically what I'm trying to get at.
Isn't there a bit of a tossing the salad technique?
Or petting
Sorry,
the
what now?
cat.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah. When we're script is intense scenes and we're just like, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
People study a
That's
long time to be surgeons. We get like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that leads me to another question. Have any of you been treated like doctors when you're off the set, just fans running into you and being like, I've got this rash on my arm and I really appreciate some advice?
I don't get that, but I did. My son went to kindergarten, which was like, a much bigger school. And during like the first or second week, I got a phone call saying that he wasn't feeling well. And so I rushed to school and I walked in the door and the nurse is sitting there and she looks at me and she goes, oh, I get it. And I said, I'm sorry, what? And my son looks up and he's sitting on the thing and she goes, no, your son said that his mom was a doctor. And so what she was saying, as a very big fan of Grey's Anatomy, was, oh yeah, no, I get it. You're not a doctor.
Kelly, how about you?
No one has ever asked me to do anything for them, but I frequently get asked, like, what skill, like, do I ever feel like I could perform? Have I performed enough surgeries at this point where I feel like I might know what to do? And the answer to that is that I could cut you. But like, beyond that, I'm screaming, doing anything else.
I actually removed the sliver from Kelly's hand once on set, which was my best work.
Oh my God, you have a PhD? That's amazing.
I feel like I'd be good with the sutures. Because it's like sewing. Whenever we do that, that's my favorite part of surgery. Whenever we do that, I'm always like, guys, my stitches are so straight and even. Look at that.
Nobody ever sees it.
No one ever sees it on TV, but they're really good.
Next week, you're getting a close-up.
Jason, Ben has had a lot of memorable scenes over the past year, especially with these sort of like Rambo surgeries. What has been like the most memorable one for you to film?
The most memorable one to film?
Yeah.
Probably, those two. There's the one in the hallway where the first pregnant woman I cut. There's a lot of memories around that because Giacomo and I were trapped there a couple different times because we did some reshoots on a Saturday and there's just blood everywhere and it's just a really gory, horrible situation. So you go to gallows humor to lighten the mood for us during the day. So there are a lot of photos that you all have not seen of me, Giacomo, and an incredibly bloody pregnant woman all giving thumbs up to the
Baby included.
Yeah, we made the baby give a thumbs up to me running with the baby like a football, all these things that are like really wrong in so many different ways that just get us through. But then I have to say, all that went away when I had to cut Sarah Drew for the finale of last season.
Tell us about that.
Well, just Sarah Drew is a hell of an actress, a hell of a person, and beyond a trooper. A lot of babies show up on our set in real life, and so she had just had a baby a year before, and that was right when she went through her character went through a traumatic thing, and then she had to a year later do basically the exact same thing again. So they have we're cutting her, and originally we weren't going to show her; it was just going to be an off-camera scream. But then Debbie Allen and her brilliance wanted to actually see her face, so Sarah Drew multiple times had to go to the zoo and just give this gut-wrenching scream while I'm cutting her, and just watching her, I just felt for her in every way. So for me, that was one of those things where it was like, you always want to try and protect your scene partners. You want to take care of your fellow actors, and it was like, are we done now? Can we stop doing this to her? But she was, but she's ready to go there as often as needed. So that was one that always sticks with me because Sarah Drew's my hero.
What's been your favorite scene, the most memorable scene to film?
Me? Memorable. Oh, you just popped that one on me. Oh, there's so many. I kind of go back to the same one, but I think it's because it was the first season I was on, so that was season 5, when Callie and Arizona had begun their courtship, and everything was just super light and fun and sexy and exciting, and there was this moment where they just danced. I don't even think there was dialogue. And we went to the apartment that they were living in, that Callie was living in, they were dating, and we just danced, and we had so much fun doing it, and I think it was my favorite because it held so much promise, and it was that beginning of a relationship that's just so exciting, and you don't know where it's gonna go, and it was just really lovely.
I've got to ask this question for Arizona as single and carefree, or did you like the relationship with Callie?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's such a multifaceted question and answer, because there were a lot of different versions of them in a relationship. There was sort of really, really sad, tragic, and then there was really exciting and excited. I'm really, really happy with where she is now, with Arizona meeting. I think that it was such an incredible relationship. I think there was so much respect, excitement, nuance, and growth that happened during the playing of that. And I think that now that Callie is no longer there, and everything is sort of squared away, so that somewhere in Shondaland, Callie is actually very happy and in a relationship and with her child, that Arizona can be sort of, I feel like, I hope that the fans can allow for that to be the moment that Arizona really gets to move on and find that dancing moment with someone else sometime soon.
I would a round of applause for that. Now, have you ever seen that sticks out in your mind as one of your most memorable?
Yeah. The episode when Maggie and Richard, oh God, hang on, I'm on the spot now.
I talked for a long time. I gave you guys some time to think about yours.
And because of that, I thought you would move on to another question. The episode where we discuss we discover that Maggie knows that she has the Alzheimer's gene that she inherited from Ellis, but she didn't know that she had inherited from Ellis, and she was scared that she had found it, or that she had gotten it from Richard. And she finds out that in fact Richard is not the one, and there's like such relief, and it's the first moment when she realizes how much she really, really loves her dad, and there was like this spontaneous, very sweet hug, and every time I see the photos of that moment, I'm like, yeah, I really felt like it was a really special bonding moment, and that moment when Maggie was like, okay, I'm safe here, I'm cared for here, and I can stay, and I belong, and that was my favorite.
That's great. All right, I want to change gears a bit and play a game called Gray or Nay. And here's the deal. I'm going to say something that may or may not have happened on Grey's Anatomy to the hospital or to the doctors. And if it did happen, you say gray. If it didn't happen, you say nay. So for example, I'll say there was a plane crash, and you'd all say gray. Feel free to ask the audience for help, Jerrika. I'm going to start with you. Was there a ferry accident on Grey's Anatomy?
Gray.
Yay. Giacomo, was a main character killed by a bus?
Great. I've been around as long as y'all.
Kelly, has the smallpox epidemic ever broken out at the hospital?
Nay.
No, good one. We have 3 for 3 so far. An earthquake rocks Seattle.
Great.
Nice.
I had a lot of babies.
Jessica, a tornado rocks Seattle. Nay, you guys are 5 for 5. Jerrika, we're going back to you. A gunman went on a rampage.
Great.
Should have
Good
been
Gray, such a good Gray.
That was so fantastic. It was fantastic.
Great.
It was like one of the best grades, yeah. Giacomo, the hospital burns down.
Not yet.
Hey. You guys already have a job.
I feel like that's going to happen in season 16 or so. We're due for that eventually.
That's the finale. Everybody dies.
Or maybe it's this one, Kelly, a nuclear disaster.
Nay. Nuclear?
Nuclear, why not? No, you're absolutely right. A bomb threat.
Also epic. Oh, yeah, but I mean, Kyle Chandler, Gray.
Yes.
It's Chandler Gray. Yeah.
Great. Last one, mustard gas. Mustard gas.
No, nay.
You guys are 10 for 10 today.
I'm listening to you guys.
Bartender, we are ready for round 3.
Jason seems to be drinking his. Ask him all the questions now.
Way to wake up on a Sunday morning.
Thank you so much.
So why do you want to know?
Cheers! Cheers. All right, now that I have you drinking, let's start spilling secrets. What is the grossest prop on set?
Scott Foley's head.
Oh, yeah, Scott Foley's head.
Explanation.
Yes, please.
Scott Foley was in the show years ago as a character, and so there's a molding of his head that is often used to sub in when we don't have an actor on the table.
That's so wrong.
So if you know Scott Foley, sometimes you turn and look and you're like, how you doing today, Scott? He's lying there because it looks like Scott Foley's lying on the table, but he's not.
Aren't his eyes closed?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the head made out of? Like, is it like sort of rubbery?
It's like latex.
Nice.
It's a pretty incredible likeness.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
We have some pretty gross babies.
I was gonna say the babies. I think the babies are the worst thing. I mean, babies are bad, but the little
The ends of the spectrum.
the fake babies are these awful mutant creatures that are like Quado. It's so awful.
Do you mean the puppeteering ones, the ones that move?
I mean, all
Ones
of
that
them.
move.
The ones that move freak me out the most, because the little ones, they're like tiny, like there was one, the preemie baby that one time, but it was still like robotic.
Yeah.
And so a little preemie baby going, and it's like this alien creature sitting there, and then they slap cream cheese and all kinds of like things.
Yeah.
The stuff they use to make it look nasty is all edible, but wrong.
Cheese
in
and like
every way
raspberry
possible.
jam. That's what they put on the babies. That face is right.
And cream cheese.
It's also wrong when they actually shove a piece of meat into the body as
Yeah.
well, so it looks like actual muscle.
Like an organ.
You know, yeah.
Oh my god, I don't know if I can drink anymore. That's a lot.
Yes, you can.
It's what we do every day. It's every day.
Wait, can I add to that the meat that we often use to operate on? Because
Talk to us
the
about
meat
that.
itself is not gross, but like when you start cauterizing it with,
Yeah,
what's
the
the
bovie.
doodah called?
Bovie.
You get the smell of like the not quite just burnt meat combined with like the corn syrup or whatever we're using to make the blood, combined with the raspberry jam. It's like, it's really, truly, it's fragrant. It's gross.
I was gonna ask, so the blood is corn syrup and some red dye?
Yeah.
I mean, it's whatever you buy. Yeah.
It's sugary. It's really sticky, so it's definitely full of sugar.
Giacomo, have you tried it?
I've had to have it in my mouth.
Yeah, I've tried it.
Oh,
I
just-
had to have it in my mouth.
Oh.
Plane crash.
But I think they do.
No, I didn't actually.
They do different
Add
for
some-
that. The blood that you put in your mouth is a different blood, right? Because doesn't it have like a minty flavor or something? It's weird. Okay.
That sounds gross.
Yeah.
Jerrika, what blood did you have in your mouth that was minty?
Don't ask questions.
She got the minty blood.
I'll have her proclivities.
Who is most likely to crack up when filming?
Jessica.
And there it is.
I can't even get through scenes with her sometimes. So
It's like to have a good time, people.
Once you start, that's when it's all about.
It does.
Once you crack, it's like a dam breaking.
Who on the cast would most likely become a doctor once Grey's Anatomy ends its run?
I feel like Sarah Drew.
It's Sarah Drew or I'm gonna even throw Jerrika in that mix.
Sure, why not? I like mess.
What makes you say Sarah?
She's just such an incredible student. I feel like she's so focused and I mean, maybe more like she's, I don't know.
Just Sarah.
Nice.
We just wanted to talk about Sarah.
Jerrika, I'm gonna start with you, and I'm gonna go down the row. Who would you like your character to hook up with on the show?
No, baby. Okay.
You're not gonna get any good answers.
How about Maggie? There we go.
Giacomo, how about you?
I'm gonna come out and say I got a huge crush on Jason, so let's just get it out
It's legal now, ladies and gentlemen, 2016.
there. We are in California.
You're welcome, America. You're welcome.
You gonna say me? I'm the only one who hasn't been named yet, so I'm gonna feel lonely if you don't.
Wait, what was the exact wording of the question?
Who do you
To
want
hook
to
up
hook up
with?
Who would you hook up with?
Well, I know who you want Megan to hook up with. don't mean this in the hookup way, but I love Catherine Avery. I feel like Maggie could learn so much from Catherine Avery, and I want her to hook up with her to learn from her about, standing in her power.
I want to steal her from Richard.
Jason, how are you?
I don't. That's hard because Ben is pretty seriously. He's pretty seriously Team Bailey.
Sure.
That's a hard. Because he's pretty serious.
Good, stay with that. Stay tried and true.
Jessica, how about you?
I'm going to put it all out to you. Who would you like for Arizona to hook up with?
Oh, good question for the audience. Addison.
We could pull her out over Shondaland.
Exactly. Well, that gets me to the next question, and Jessica, I'll start with you. Who's the character you'd most like to play on a different Shondaland show?
Ooh, I would have to separate my interests. Like, Portia de Rossi's got a pretty nice wardrobe over there on Scandal.
Right? Not gonna
You can
lie.
work it. You can
Yeah,
work
good
it.
little, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Can I give you a second to think about it?
Yeah.
Drunk Melly. That's absolutely my favorite Shondaland character, and I can stand her.
That is true. So evidently some combination of Drunk Melly and so I'll just go with that.
Nice.
How are we doing?
No one will ever do it as well as the actor who plays him, but I would love to be Command for a minute. And just fuck everybody up.
Read them down.
You have a favorite?
It'd be nice to be the president of Scandal. See what that's like.
Jerrika, how about you?
All the Scandal talk. I think I'm gonna stick with Scandal and maybe I'll be Mama Pope because I just want to fuck some shit up.
Right?
All right, we have time for a couple quick audience questions. I'm going to paraphrase this one a little bit, it's a little long. This person's saying that being a bit of a hypochondriac, I constantly find myself self-diagnosing whatever horrible disease is currently being treated on Grays. Do you ever have that same experience?
No.
It's a good question, though.
Great question.
As a viewer, the characters' deaths are always heartbreaking. Which character's death affected you most and why? I know a bunch of people asked this question.
Ooh, mine was absolutely when I was not on the show and I was a fan. It was Denny, the prom, and she crawls up in bed with him and gets her legs up and he's holding her and he's kind of blue and he's all chalky white like ET. It's so sad and she cuts the L that way. It's a whole thing. So yes, Denny is so sad.
Same. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It was really heartbreaking.
Really sad.
How about you, Jason?
For me, it's not a particular death, but the entire shooting episode that went down, all of the deaths that happened in that were so to watch people you work with, care about, die. It was more about the trauma for the people that lived. That was the part that affected me.
I really wish Maggie could have met Ellis Gray.
And Joe, does one stick with you?
Answering as a viewer, I still really remember those two people that were impaled on the same pole.
She was so good.
Yeah, I remember that. And it's like answering on behalf of my character, I'm going to say Kyle because she ain't grieved yet.
Of course. All right, I know that Shonda is particularly doesn't like to reveal spoilers. I'm asking this question very nebulously to respect her wishes. But describe what's going on for your character in 3 words for the rest of the season. Or for the next few episodes that you filmed.
In 3 words?
In 3 words. And I should mention, we were talking backstage, and you do a lot of filming out of order, so I realized how difficult this particular question is.
Transition.
No, you go.
Transition of power.
Ooh, yours all went together.
Trial.
Yeah. I'm gonna go flirty, period. fun, period. Incarceration. Not necessarily all together. Not flirty fun incarceration. It's flirty, period, fun, period, incarceration.
Is it Arizona getting a jailhouse lover, perhaps?
You know, crazier things have happened.
Jerrika, how about you?
I'm gonna associate myself with transition of power. Yeah.
Excellent.
Associate my answer rather, not myself.
Excellent. Well, that's going to do it for our 3 rounds with the cast of Grey's Anatomy. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for coming out.